The ACLU is suing Ohio because it claims the state will not allow individuals to change the gender listed on their birth certificates. The four transgender individuals represented by the ACLU and Lambda Legal argue the state's requirements prevent them from obtaining documents they deem essential to everyday living and put them at risk for discrimination and even violence. The suit comes just weeks after a federal judge ruled Idaho's ban against changing sex on a birth certificate violates equal protections afforded by the Constitution. Tonight's Legal Eagles, civil rights attorney Robert Patillo and criminal defense attorney Bob Bianchi. Great to see you both tonight.
Good to see you, Shannon. Thank you.
Hey, Shannon.
All right, we've got a Robert and a Bob, so we're going to try to keep this straight. Let's start here. Lambda Legal's law fellow Carol Engelhardt says this: the policy is not only archaic and out of step with the rest of America, but also dangerous, forcing transgender Ohioans to go through life with inaccurate birth certificates, a basic form of identification, unnecessarily exposes them to discrimination, harassment, and violence. It also denies them their very identity. So, Robert, why shouldn't Ohio just get with the program?
Well, this fundamentally comes down to being a states' rights issue. This is something that's within the purview of the legislature and not within the purview of the federal courts. This is a documentation issue. Of course, we all support the rights of individuals to identify as they choose or as they assign themselves. However, the state is the one who has to administer documentation and has to address these issues. I think the federal courts will kick this back to the state for them and the state legislature to make the decision.
Okay, now on the other side, we have Citizens for Community Values. From their president, Aaron Bear, we have this. Once again, the ACLU is wasting taxpayer money. With this lawsuit, the ACLU is sacrificing medical accuracy for political ideology by attempting to force the state to falsify official records. Make no mistake, this lawsuit isn't about whether Ohioans can be supportive of people with gender dysphoria. It's about whether politics trumps biology. Bob.
Well, it's partially correct, but mostly wrong. And with all due respect to my colleague, the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution indicates that no state can pass a law that discriminates upon a class of people. Now, this is not about politics. It's not about religion. It's about the law. And Idaho's court has set precedent here, indicating that this is improper to do and reversing the law and saying that they must allow them to change their certificates if they're transgender. That is now precedent that is going to be set forth in the Ohio case. So the idea that the state cannot pass a law, just like they couldn't pass Jim Crow laws, just like they couldn't pass that women can't vote laws, states cannot abridge the 14th Amendment and the Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution. This is a no-brainer case. The ACLU is, and the individual plaintiffs that are filing here, whether you like it or not, are going to win on legal principles. And Shannon, my last point is that nobody liked it when the blacks wanted the right to vote, when women wanted the right to vote. Nobody liked it when the Ku Klux Klan was allowed to protest and spew out vile speech. Nevertheless, the Constitution protects this class of people from being able to change these very important government documents.
Well, and Robert, there are some of the plaintiffs who have told stories about it's cost them a lot of time, a lot of money trying to get basic legal documents, things with immigration and traveling abroad, that kind of thing. Is there some type of compromise Ohio could come to? Should they have to?
Well, right now the Ohio State Legislature is working on a compromise bill as we speak. I believe that the ACLU lawsuit is a little bit premature, frankly, because this should work its way through the legislative process. The people of Ohio have to speak on this matter. Fundamentally, even with the equal protection argument that my colleague made, we have to remember that transgenders were never considered to be a protected classification. That's something that the courts have to rule on the highest level, and this may end up being a Supreme Court issue, so it can set precedent for the entire nation, but right now it's not settled law.
All right, Bob, the closing final argument to you.
Yeah, listen, this is only one of 3 states that has not gotten it yet. And the bottom line here is going to be that these individuals are entitled to have the same rights as other classes are. And one of the things the court brought out in the Idaho decision is that they allow people to amend birth certificates for other reasons. And here's what's important, Shannon, and most important. They are not able to articulate a government interest that justifies not allowing it to happen. In fact, in Idaho, they even admit it, that is the state, that there is no legitimate government reason as to why they will not allow the change on the birth certificate. They're gonna lose in Ohio, and the ACLU will win.
All right, we will watch the case. Robert and Bob, thank you both. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thanks, Shannon.